Hey, hello everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. Okay, I think everybody had your food, right? Yes, food. Today, what I'm gonna talk about. Yes, food is a basic necessity of our life, right? So, whatever we eat, that decides how much we are going to work, how much life that we are going to live. That decides our efficiency of our life, right? Yes. So myself, Pawan, from MSc Food Technology in Banaras Hindu University, Department of Dairy Science and Food Technology. I am putting a topic about clinical testing of nutraceuticals and health foods. See how the nutraceuticals works and nutraceuticals affects your health and what are the basic needs that a company should claim that is in nutraceuticals, and what are the clinical testings and trials that should be undergone before releasing into the market, and what are the different steps involved in that testing procedure, and regulations that are followed in different countries and organizations, and the conclusion and reference that I'm gonna give you at the last. So let's discuss. So basically, what is nutraceutical? So it combines the two words nutrient and pharmaceutical. So basically nutraceutical is any substances that provides you a medical or health benefit along with the basic nutrition that prevents some diseases or that treats some diseases. This is basically a nutraceutical means. So the term nutraceutical was given by Stephen D. Felice in the 1988. So that what I told, right? So the nutraceutical is any compound that is like it is just a food, but what it do is along with the nutrition it provides you some health benefits. It helps in preventing some diseases, it helps in curing some diseases. This is a nutraceutical. So in during 1990s, before 1990s, no people were aware of that what is nutraceutical nutrition. There was no such a concern. But after 1990s, sudden a rise in the US and international markets about nutraceuticals and a growth in a consumer interest, uh, matlab, it continuously goes on increasing. So that's why in during in 1999, a sudden emerged as a year with a strong market gains for nutrition labeling and foods using a nutrition labeling and education act NLEA. So those are the food which were labeled with NLEA got a good marketing during the 1999s. So that's what led to the development of nutraceuticals and health foods, right? Okay, let's. So now the clinical testing of nutraceuticals. So, as in the medical field also, whenever we are releasing any drug, the drug should be previously studied under certain level of studies like cellular studies, molecular studies, what are the effects that's gonna cause, what are their side effects, and after that, studying all this, they will release the drug, and the trials, clinical trials were conducted in different studies. Like previously, they will conduct for the microorganisms, and after that, some animals like white rats or some pig or any animals. After that they will go for the human trials with smaller population, after that for larger population, and after that concluding all the researches, then they will gonna release a product, right? So this is how also a nutraceutical product is also gone under the clinical test. So why these nutraceuticals need, like there are some non-communicable disease, that is NCDs, such as cancers and some gastrointestinal diseases, cardiovascular diseases, heart problems, arthritis, osteoarthritis. So these are not which transfers from one person to other persons, and these also need some a kind of nutrition thing that can cure these diseases, right? So on such a diseases matter, the nutraceuticals were. So what are the steps that are undergone before releasing airs? So there are procedures like preclinical discovery. They study about the molecular structure and what are their best combination, what are the molecules should be combined, and they design some uh, product. After that, the cluster analysis, discriminant analysis, and factor analysis can well be obtained first then. So after all this research and analysis and studies, the dose related problem and pharmacological activity can also be provided by the animal studies. So the next step is to understand the genetic toxicity, animal toxicity, reproductive toxicity, carcinogenic toxicity, and dose relationships. This is how that the clinical testing works. So in the phase 3 trials, about 1000 to 3000 of peoples were selected, those who are interested, and they are going to conduct with a drug that may be either a single placebo blind test or single blind placebo test or double blind placebo control test, in which in single blind placebo test only the person who is giving a drugs knows the what is the doses and what are its effects, but the person who is undergoing the test doesn't know. But whereas in double blind, not even that person who is giving a drug and the person who is undergoing a test knows what is its effects and all. So this is about the phase 3 trials and usually conducted about greater than 65 years peoples and those who are having some that NCDs. This is about that. And this is while the phase 3 also indicates the circumstances where open label extension is carried out to confirm the efficacy. If efficacy becomes apparent to certain point of the trial, the study may be terminated at an earlier stage through an interim utility. So after that phase 4 studies, so the phase 4 studies confirms that this nutraceutical has a certain capacity that can cure a certain NCDs, and it decides it should be released to the market or not. The drug company may also undertake phase 4 studies as a marketing strategy in which head-to-head comparison with the competitor product is pursued. So it is interesting to note that many phase 4 studies are phase 1 in technical nature, but phase 4 in terms of time sequence of study execution. So this is how basically a stepwise procedure how the clinical trials works. Preclinical test after followed by phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4 after that releasing into the market. So in the preclinical test, as I told, the some kind of very molecular level of studies will occur. What are the structure, components, molecules and all. In phase 1 after that some advanced studies occurs with about 20 to 100 healthy volunteers or patient. In phase 2 about 100 to 300 patients, and in phase 3 evaluation of drug safety, effectiveness and efficacy comparison to existing treatments in about 300 to 3000 patients. And in phase 4 after phase 3, phase 4 is a long process, like they monitor these drugs or whatever they given the product in a long term, and their side effects, risk benefits and pharma economics. Like we have to consider it economic aspect also, how much it is gonna cost for a consumer, whether it is a cost effective or not. And community based research has also undergone in phase 4 phase. About 1000 or many patients were selected in this phase and the trials were conducted. So as I told how the clinical trial works, so there are certain regulations and laws, and there are regulatory bodies which control this procedure, and they set some standards in various different countries. So talking about India, the Food Safety and Standard Authority FSSAI FSSAI deals with these aspects in India. So FSSAI has been created for laying down science-based standards for articles of food and to regulate their manufacture, storage, distribution, sale and import to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. Thus, it applies to products like dietary supplements and nutraceuticals too. Various central acts like Prevention of Food Adulteration, FPO, Vegetable Oil Product Order, Edible Oil Packaging Regulations Orders. These are all the regulations which come under Food Safety and Standard Act that totally discuss about these nutritions. So talking about the United States of America, so majorly as I told that FSSAI decides the regulations in India. In USA, FDA and DSHA are the major concern bodies which decide the regulations in the USA. So the manufacturers and distributors of dietary supplements and dietary ingredients are prohibited from marketing products that are adulterated or misbranded. So if anyone of that find that it is been adulterated or mismanipulated, so they are all removed from the markets from FDA and DSHEA. So this means that FDA is responsible for taking against any adulterated or misbranded lead of. So this is a small comparison between the guidelines of USA and India. How the works, the USA defines how USA defines the nutraceuticals, and how India defines the nutraceuticals, and what are the regulatory bodies in USA such as FDA and DSHA and FSSA in India. And these regulations were came into force in USA in 1994 itself, whereas in India it came quite later, that is 2011. And for registration, licensing and all process, you need to have certain requirements from your side, and also you need to register from the form 3537 in USA, as in case of India form AP forms. So okay guys, at last I'm going to conclude this topic like this, that As I told, in nowadays nutraceuticals are a trending market products that are playing major role in international markets. So human trials are highly important that may cause any future impact if the clinical trials are not properly taken following the steps and regulations. So any drug that might have a long term effect, that get to know that in a future it has some side effects that may cause some of those very big social problems. So that's why the clinical trials are very important in nowadays, that decides the safety of a consumer and ourselves also. So in India, Food Safety and Standard Act 2006 and Food Safety and Standard Rules and Regulation 2011 are implemented to avoid a grouping of nutraceutical product either into food or drug. The nutraceutical in India are called by the name functional foods for special dietary uses. So thank you everyone. With this, I conclude my topic. Today's the clinical testing of nutraceuticals. Hope you all understood my topic. It's a food that makes you live, eat good, live longer and better. Thank you everyone.